hosted by Matt Riches. Watch the market unfold. Turning data to gold. Watch the market unfold. Turning data to gold. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from around the globe. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. June 24th, 2026. This is the pre-market briefing. The market is trying to stabilize after a 2-day technology sell-off. There are no red or orange folders today, but we do have some yellow folders we'll talk about later. The Fear and Greed Index is at 27. It is very close to extreme fear, y'all. You know what that means. Good prices to buy your stocks at. When we are at extreme fear, that is a good time to add some more shares to your long-term buy and hold portfolio. But this morning, SPX, the Nasdaq 100, and the Dow Jones are all pushing toward their pre-market highs. The VIX is falling, the 10-year Treasury yield gapped down a little bit, and the buyers are trying to create a rebound. So today's question is, can this pre-market recovery turn into a real bounce, or does fear bring sellers back after the open? Man, too early. Can't even tell. I track the headlines and data in the market level, so you don't have to. This show is for education and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. And yes, MU does have earnings. We have a $1 trillion ticker that has earnings today after the market closes, so that is going to be huge because they've been running parabolic. Okay, let's get into the mindset before we get into the charts with our mantra. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable. I am skilled. I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, now let's get into the data. We do have a couple yellow folders to make note of. At 7 a.m., we have new home sales coming out. At 1 p.m., we have the bank stress test results. This may still create movement in housing financials in the broader market. Let's see. Gold broke the previous low of year, which was $4,023 an ounce. It's now reached a new yearly low of $4,005 an ounce. That just happened this morning. Bitcoin is around 62,700. Ethereum is around 1,675. Okay. FedEx reportedly down around 7.8% after investors reacted to shrinking margins in its core delivery business. Oil prices continue to fall. Brent crude is around $75. And WTI crude is around $71. The decline follows progress in the U.S.-Iran peace talks and a gradual shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. The US dollar index is reportedly near a 13-month high, around $101.69 as investors seek safety during the elevated market volatility. So the setup is mixed. The indexes are trying to rebound, the yields are lower, oil is lower, the fear and greed is almost in extreme fear. Gold broke yearly lows. Technology still has damage to repair. Next, let's get into Robert Greene's Daily Law for today. This was interesting. I haven't heard a law like this, but it's in the book, so let's see what you guys think. Title: Diabolical Language. Today's law is about the separation between words and reality. Robert Greene says many people use symbolic language. Their words represent real feelings, beliefs, ideas, or objects. But diabolical language does the opposite. The words do not need to represent anything concrete. Their sound and the emotions they create become more important than their actual meaning. Sweet sounding language can create illusions. It can pull people away from reality. And once people are focused on their fantasy, it becomes difficult for them to separate truth from manipulation. This sounds like propaganda. The science of propaganda right there. For long-term investors, the lesson is to look beyond the language. Companies use powerful words: innovation, transformation, artificial intelligence, disruption, efficiency. But investors still have to ask what those words represent. Is revenue growing? Are margins improving? Is cash flow real? Are customers paying for the product? Do not let exciting language replace evidence. For day traders, this law is about separating narratives from price. A headline can sound bullish, an analyst can sound confident, a company can describe its future in glowing terms, but price may tell a different story. Today, the market is attempting to rebound after a major technology sell-off. Do not trade the comforting narrative, trade the levels. Watch whether buyers defend the pre-market move. Watch whether QQQ holds strength. Watch whether the VIX continues lower. Words create emotion. Price reveals reaction. Execution over emotion. Process over prediction. Stay patient. Stay disciplined. Now let's get into these charts, y'all. Let's get into these levels. Pre-market support and resistance. Okay, start out with Nvidia. Currently here in the pre-market at $200.93. Pre-market low is $200.85. So it's very close to breaking pre-market lows. Underneath that, well, let me just say, we are in our Smart Money Concept support zone here. The pre-market high is actually the top of the support zone. I do have a level here inside the zone at 200 even. Then the middle of the zone is 198.25. And I have a level at 196.15. And this zone ends at 194.75, which is the previous month low. So if we end up breaking that, yeah, Nvidia will be in trouble. But there's a lot of buyers in this zone. That's why it's called a Smart Money Concept support zone. To the upside, we got the pre-market high at 201.73, 203.10, 203.77, 204.70. And then we have the bottom of this gap at 204.94. The middle of the gap is 206.31. The top of the gap is 207.65. Next, we have Google. Google was confirmed to be joining the Dow 30. So there will be a bunch of indexes, a bunch of ETFs that track the Dow 30 that will have to buy shares of Google. So that is great news for Google investors. As you can see, when the news was announced here at 2 p.m., this huge green candle, it was about a 1.24% move to the upside once that news came out, but then it did sell off after that. Okay, current price $348.94. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at $346.89, followed by $346.40, $345, $342.75, $340.20. To the upside resistance, we got $349.17, which is a pre-market high. We got yesterday's high, $349.29, $350.90, $352, $354.94. Next, we got Apple currently in the pre-market at $295.30. To the downside support, we got $294.35. Yesterday's low of $294.18. The pre-market low of $293.40. $292.25, $291.70. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at $296.68, $299.25, $301.64, $302, and $305. Next, we got Microsoft. Current price $370.90. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at $370.30. I actually don't have any levels here. Why is that? I should have a daily level right here. Okay. Underneath the pre-market low, I got a level here at $367.10, and then we get to our smart money concept support zone, which begins at $365.37. The middle of this zone is $360.86. The bottom of this zone is $356.29, which is actually below the low of the year. The low of the year for Microsoft is $356.75. I do have an alert here at $359. So if Microsoft does get to $359, I will be buying my last set of shares for Microsoft for my long-term buy and hold. So hopefully it'll get there today. Gotta set my limit on it, matter of fact. Next, we got Amazon, $233.41 here in the pre-market. To the downside support, we got $232.75, which is the pre-market low. $232, $230.50, $229.36, $227.90. To the upside resistance, we got $234.09, $236, $236.87, $238.50. Next, we got SpaceX. The euphoria for SpaceX has came and went. It is currently 153 here in the pre-market. The people that bought SpaceX over 200 are holding the bag. Pre-market low, 152.35. Underneath that, I got 147.11, which was yesterday's low. Underneath that, I got the IPO price that I got in at 135. I don't have anything underneath that. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 158.74, followed by yesterday's high of 165.50, 168.35. Next, we got TSM, currently in the pre-market. Very close to pre-market lows right now. It's 433.98. The downside resistance, pre-market low, 433.51, followed by 430.90, 425.20, 422. The upside resistance, got 437.15. Pre-market high, 445, 447.33, 448. And then we get the bottom of this gap at 449.85. Next, we got AVGO. Big candle right here. This active candle right now is pushing up over 3%. That's interesting. So some news must have dropped on AVGO. Current price here in the pre-market, $393.51. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 380.60, followed by 376.70, 372.80. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at 398.79, $400.65, 406.65, 412.70, 414.90, and 419. Next, we got Tesla. Dang, the show is going too long. Tesla, we're almost done, folks. Just a few more tickers. Tesla currently in the pre-market at 382.37. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low at 382, and then we got our smart money concept support zones, which starts at 380.77. Then we got a level here at 379.06. We got the previous month low at 378.80. The middle of this zone is 372.41. The bottom of the zone is 364.07, which is a weekly level. So Tesla's definitely feeling the pressure. I wonder if SpaceX and Tesla are gonna trade in sync. We'll have to see, folks. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high at 385, followed by 390.50, 392.87, and then we got this gap here. I wonder if this gap is filled. It is not filled. So the bottom of this gap is 392.90. Top of this gap is 394.44. And we got MU, big dog. Has earnings after the market closes. This is pivotal for the AI trade, the memory sectors, technology as a whole, y'all. Current price, $1,087. To the downside support, we got the pre-market low, $1,079, $1,054, $1,038, $1,036, $1,014, $1,003. For the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 1105, 1110, 1122, 1125, which is bottom of this gap. The gap goes all the way to 1168. The middle of the gap is 1147. Next, we got Meta Platforms, which has been struggling ridiculously. It's pushing pre-market lows right now of $561. Underneath that, I got 557, 551, 55, and then the top of this gap at 546.78. To the upside resistance, we got the pre-market high of 564.50, followed by 568, 572.20, which is yesterday's high, and 573. And lastly, Berkshire B, 492.10. To the downside, we got the pre-market low of 491, followed by 490, 487.40. To the upside resistance, we got 492, followed by 493.90, 494.34. Thank y'all for tuning in. I know the show went kind of long today. My bad. I will talk faster tomorrow.
Chase excellence, never chase money. Why? Because money has an incredible way of finding excellence. Did you chase excellence and not money? Do you have the intellectual curiosity to learn everything you can about this incredible industry and master it. Become the smartest person in the room. Have you mastered it?
Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to everybody on YouTube Live. This is the $1 Trillion Tickets broadcast, and I'm your host, Matt Riches. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. We will be back for the market check-in later today after I trade. So look out for that. I did make a trade yesterday. Traded QQQ. Made $75. It was cool. See if we can run it back.